Hey guys, so we have some multiple breaking news coming out when it comes to nation against nations and kingdom against kingdom. God bless to every single one of you. Do me a favor, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, and thank you so much for tuning in. So, we're going to start with this one first. Iran on high alert amid fears of strike on nuclear sites. All right, so once again, this information is coming out today. Iran military is on high alert. So, we're going to see what's going on with this news. We also going to talk about this one here. Donald chilling 8 words that raised specter of World War III. Once again, Donald delivered a chilling 8-word assessment of global affairs that raises the specter of World War III. All right, so we're going to get to this one here. Once again, we do have some more information I want to share with many of you. U.S. opened new missile testing site as Donald warns of World War III. All right, so we're gonna get to following nuclear missile test. All right, so we're gonna get to all this here, guys. Once again, do me a favor, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And this is gonna be the final one here. All right, so you have Iran unveils new military hardware as prospect of strike grows. So we're going to get to all this here. So once again, Iran military is on high alert. They put out this information today. And yeah, we're going to see what's going on here, guys. And welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream, guys. I'm thinking about going live at least, once a day. I'm thinking about going live on this channel. So, and make sure you hit that notification bell. So let's see what's going on with this news here. All right, so it says here Iran has put its defense system around its nuclear sites on high alert amid fears of a strike by the Holy Land and the US. According to 2 high-level Gov sources, you have the Islamic Republic has also been bolstering defenses around key nuclear and missile sites, which include the deployment of additional air defense system launchers. Officials say the measures are in response to growing concerns of potential joint military action by the Holy Land and the U.S. Wow. So once again, Iran believe that an imminent strike is underway. And you guys know Donald said that he will not allow Persia to have nuclear weapons. So he mentioned that back in late January and early February. He said that when Benjamin was in the White House, he gave a message to the world saying that he will not allow Iran to have nuclear. So it follows warnings from U.S. intelligence to both Joe and Donald administration that Holy Land will likely target key Persian Iranian nuclear sites this year. They, Iranian authorities, are just waiting for the strike and are anticipated, and every night and everything has been on high alert. Even in sites that no one knows about, one source told the Telegraph. So work to fortify nuclear sites has been ongoing for years, but it has intensified over the past year, particularly since the Holy Land launched the first strike, he added. Now, recent developments, including Donald comments and reports about potential plans from his administration to strike Iran, have further intensified activities. Wow. It's just a matter of time when all this starts to hit the fan. The Holy Land and Iran have been engaged in a long shadow war, mainly between the Holy Land and the Islamic Republic proxies. Now, since the war in the Strip began in 2023, October 2023, both sides have carried out daring strikes on each other. And yeah, I think it was twice. I think Iran fired twice. One in I think it was April of 2023. And then there was one last year, if I'm not mistaken. So Iran, they did fire some very powerful missiles, but with the help of the US and allies out there, they took out a lot of Iranian drones and missiles. All right, so it says here in October last year, Persia launched an unprecedented strike involving 200 missiles on the Holy Land, which retaliated with airstrikes. Once again, Iran now fears that with the support of Donald, who has advocated for Holy Land to hit Persia Iran nuclear facility, Holy Land strike is imminent. Now, the official acknowledged that any big strike could leave Iran vulnerable against its defense system, which have heavily weakened by last year's Holy Land strike. All right, so Holy Land, they took out a lot of their stuff, especially missile defense system. And I think they took out the S-300, which was given by Russia as a gift. I think the S-300 was taken out too. Several additional air defense system launchers have been deployed, but there is an understanding that they may not be effective in the event of a large-scale strike, he said. Once again, the Islamic regime has domestically developed an air defense system and has Russian S-300 to protect its nuclear sites. However, these are not thought to be robust enough to protect against the Holy Land cutting-edge weapons, prompting Iran to pressure Russia into expediting a delivery of the S-400 missile system. All right, so it seems like the S-300, it might be good, but it ain't going to be that great. Because, again, the Holy Land, they do have some very powerful missiles. So it seems like the S-400 is the big one. This is what Iran wants, the S-400 missile system. And guys, don't forget, Holy Land, they do have some very powerful equipment, very powerful missiles. They have the Iron Dome too. So they are very, militarily, they are very, very prepared. Alright, so it says here, General Amir from the IRGC, Aerospace Force Commander, announced this week that Persia is also developing a ballistic missile defense system to defend against Holy Land strike. It says here, he said, in regarding anti-ballistic system in recent event, we suffer damage in this area, which shows a deficiency in the country ballistic defense sector. In every meeting, I, along with IRGC commander, I'm going to skip their names, multiple commanders, very important people here, had with the supreme leader, his first question was always, what happened? Where does it stand? He said. He said the defense system will be ready in March to equip Iran capital Tehran and several major cities with an anti-ballistic defense system. Currently, we are capable of producing missiles with a range of 2,000 kilometers and have no technical limitation in this regard. If there is a threat from the US, we can strike nearby targets with low-cost missiles, he said. Wow. Maximum pressure from Donald. The Holy Land victory over Persia Iran proxy network, such as, I'm going to skip their names, and the fall of Assad, who was Tehran's main ally, and regional setbacks, has severely weakened the Persian regime. The losses have fueled dissent at home and raised hopes for change. It says here, it has left Iran vulnerable to Donald. Donald has the upper hand now. Donald could finish them off. Again, Assad is gone. Assad is gone. You got the Strip. That thing is already weakened. Hezbollah. You guys know Hezbollah. I'm not saying the full name. Just follow me on this one. Hezbollah is also weakened. I truly apologize, guys. Seems like it's buffering a little bit. It's because of these news articles that I have opened up, and one of them is just completely buffering the OBS. But again, you have a lot of the proxies, Iranian proxies, they're all weakened. Except for one, which is, I think, Yemen. I mean, they're still out there firing towards the Red Sea. All right, give me a second. I'm going to have to remove myself from the OBS. It's a lot better. All right, so it says here, it has left Iran vulnerable to Donald hawkish stance on the country. Since he came to power, he has resumed his maximum pressure campaign on Iran, including efforts to stop it from obtaining nuclear by driving its oil export down to zero. On Monday, Benjamin, the Holy Land PM, said with Donald support, his gov would finish the job with Iran. Wow. So once again, Benjamin, and Benjamin also said that Donald will lead. He will lead. He will lead us in, finishing all this war. So again, buckle up. I do believe that there's going to be two things that's going to happen. Two things. I believe hell is going to break out in the Mideast and also here at the southern region, at the southern border. I do believe so. Big, again, something big is going to come at the southern border. You got P-8 Poseidon going on. You have U.S. Special Forces out there. You have the MQ-9 Reaper. There was an F-35 out there. I mean, you got so many stuff going on in the southern border. There's a lot of things out there, a lot of military. And Donald last night announced that he will continue with tariff on Canada and Mexico. I don't think tariff has to do with migrants anymore because everything is all sealed. The southern is sealed, and he got everything under control. But I do believe there's a lot more than migrants. There's a lot more. I believe there's going to be something big, and it's the big gangsters out there. I think those are the next one, which is the cartels. All right, so Donald has expressed a preference for making a deal with Tehran, but has also made it clear that he is considering U.S. military action if negotiations fail. Wow. Okay. So Donald, he wants to work with Persia, but Donald's like, you guys ain't going to have nuclear. If you guys are going to work with this, again, have nukes, then it's going to be game on. It's going to be war. Persia official who spoke to the Telegraph said there are now fears in Persia capital that the U.S. could join in a larger scale strike that could put the Islamic Republic existence in danger. On Sunday, you have Waltz, the U.S. National Security Advisor, said all options are on the table. There you go. All options are on the table. Now, he said the same thing about the southern border. All options are on the table. They, Iran, are an irrational actor that we cannot allow to have their finger on the button. Now, he said Donald was willing to talk to Iran only on the condition of giving up the entire nuclear program and not play games as we've seen Iran do in the past. Now you have Jason, the policy director of the United Against Nuclear Iran, told the Telegraph there are several ways the U.S. could support Holy Land strike on Persia nuclear sites. He said the U.S. can support it politically. The U.S. support it in terms of intelligence, reconnaissance, and area refueling capability. Also, the U.S. can support it transferring advanced munition and delivering vehicles to be able to destroy Iran's nuclear program. Guys, the day that happens, I truly apologize if you hear the rooster in the background. I truly apologize, guys. But the day this happens, if Iran nuclear facility gets hit, this is going to be big. I do believe this is going to spark fire throughout the Mideast. It's going to make it a lot worse. I do believe so. It's going to make it a lot worse. It's going to drag us into this into this new war. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, guys. Make sure you share the video. One of the challenges for the Holy Land in hitting Iran is that its warplanes must travel over 1,500 kilometers to be within striking distance. This required mid-air refueling over potentially hostile territory while facing Persia and Russian mid-air defenses. Mid-air defenses. You have Mr. Bronsky said there is always the option of the U.S. participating in strikes with the Holy Land on a nuclear file. The Iranian regime is eyeing these different options very rarely, and their nervousness have increased, understandably, as a result of the report in the U.S. media and the U.S. intelligence assessment, which Holy Land ready is to strike the Islamic Republic nuclear program this year. Man. So Iran is now seeking ways to revive the 2015 deal, which Donald withdrew from in 2018, while the U.S. is pushing for complete disarmament. Mr. Bronsky said as long as both sides are speaking with such demands, there is unlikely to be a sustainable diplomatic settlement to this issue, and necessitates the U.S. to develop a very robust pressure architecture that we have seen the Donald administration start to do. All right, so once again, that's one of the big breaking news. Iran on high alert amid fears of strike on nuclear sites. All right, so they have the military on high alert. They have the nuclear facility on high alert. It's just a matter of time when things start hitting the fan. Let me just remove this article and go with the next one here. All right, so let's go with this one here. So you have the president chilling 8 words that raise specter of World War III. So you have the U.S. president made the startling comments during a Monday White House visit made by his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron. Both leaders expressed a willingness to work together on Ukraine and bring an end to the war with Russia. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here. And I did talk about this yesterday, but these are updates, very important updates. So this could escalate into a third world war, and we do not want that, Donald said. Now, this should never have happened. It should have never started. If it did start, it should have stopped after a week, not 3 years later. Once again, the Republican then hit out against his Democrat predecessor, Joe, adding there was no communication with Russia until I came along. That's very true. When Russia invaded Ukraine, that's the last time Joe has spoke to Vladimir. So there was no communication. Joe hasn't spoken to Vladimir ever since the 2022 war. And that's what Donald is saying. You shouldn't ignore. You shouldn't ignore Joe. You should have just talked to the man. You should have done something. Instead, you just signed checks. You gave money. You gave equipment. Instead of talking to the man, instead of picking up the phone and talking to Vladimir, you gave Zelensky money. You got played. Zelensky played you. He probably yelled at you and you got scared and you gave him all this money. All right, so it says here, the right then hit out against his left predecessor, Joe, adding, there was no communication with Russia until I came along. But Donald's approach to peace negotiation with Vladimir had been strongly criticized by many European political figures, as well as Western analysts. It says here, ahead of Donald and Macron meeting, the U.S. voted with Russia, North Korea, Belarus, and 14 other countries with friendly ties to Moscow against a resolution condemning Russian aggressions in Ukraine and calling for its occupied territory to be returned. Now, the measures passed overwhelmingly in the UN General Assembly. You have Emmanuel Macron also addressed falsehoods repeated by Donald, including that European nations had merely been loaning financial aid to Kiev. Just so you understand, Europe is loaning the money to Ukraine. Mr. Donald told reporters alongside Mr. Macron at the White House they're getting their money back. Now, before Donald could continue, Emmanuel Macron swiftly intervened, reaching over to grab the president's arm in an attempt to set the record straight. No, in fact, to be frank, we paid, he said. And I've seen that part too. I've seen that part. Donald was going to say something, and then you see Emmanuel Macron grab his hand like, hey, you know, I guess he was trying to kind of shut Donald up or something. But I seen that part. It was a short clip video I seen on Twitter. Before Donald could continue, Emmanuel Macron swiftly intervened, reaching over to grab the president's arm in an attempt to set the record straight. No. In fact, to be frank, we paid, he said. We paid 60% of the total effort. It was like the US loans, guarantees, grants. He continued, we have $230 billion in frozen assets in Europe. Russian assets. But this is not collateral of a loan because it is not our belonging. So they are frozen. And Zelensky, he wants that $200 billion to repair his country from the war throughout 2022. The problem is he cannot take that money. It's frozen, and that money doesn't belong to him. It belongs to Russia. Now, if he wants money, if he wants to rebuild his land, well, he needs to talk to Europe. It says here, Donald appeared unfazed by Emmanuel Macron. Correction, although he offered a dismissive response. If you believe that, it's okay with me. They get their money back, and we don't. But now we do. The U.S. president said Zelensky may come to Washington, D.C. in the next week or two. So for those of you that don't know, Zelensky is coming. He's coming. He's coming with a bag, with an empty bag. Again, every time he comes to the U.S., you know, again, we say as a metaphor, he coming with an empty bag and he leaves with a bag full of money. So he's coming with an empty bag, but he's going to leave back home with an empty bag. I don't think Donald's going to give him money. So once again, U.S. leader said Ukrainian leader Zelensky may come to Washington in the next week or two. He added that the two countries was very close to agreeing a rare earth minerals deal. Now he continued, I will be meeting with Zelensky. In fact, he may come in this week or next week to sign the agreement. Wow. Okay. All right. Again, this coming out from the Donald. He may come this week or next week to sign the agreement, which will be nice. I love to meet him. It's not gonna. Oh, by the way, guys, Zelensky, he was yelling at one of the. I don't know who it was. It was someone from the Trump administration, and Zelensky. People out, you know, in Ukraine, they said that, you know, people in the office, they say when there was a meeting going on between Zelensky and one of the Trump administration members, Zelensky was yelling. You could hear it throughout the entire facility. So, yeah, Zelensky is not pleased with Donald administration. So when he comes here this week or next week, yeah, he cannot yell at Donald. Donald's not going to tolerate that. And the reason why he's yelling, because he wants money. He's not getting anything. He's not getting nothing. He's not getting any equipment. The U.S. has put a halt to the weapons that was being shipped to Ukraine. So he's yelling, he's aggravated. Zelensky is not pleased. So we meet at the Oval Office. So the agreement's being worked on now. So they're very close to a final deal. It'll be a deal with rare earth and various other things. And he will like to come, as I understand it, here to sign it. And that will be great with me. All right. So Donald is warning that, look, if we don't figure something out, if we don't come to some kind of peace agreement, there will be World War III. And here's the thing, guys. When spoken of peace and safety or peace and security, the sudden destruction shall follow. All right? Sudden destruction shall follow. Again, he talks about peace, but it just, I don't, the Bible says that in the end time, there will be wars and so many things to come. Let's see what's going on with this story here, guys. And I did talk about this yesterday, but this is very, very important updates here. So, U.S. opens new missile testing site. As Donald warns of World War III following nuclear missile test. All right. So, Donald has warned we are not so far away from World War III, but reassured why it's not. I really apologize, guys. Sometimes these articles just surprise you with all these advertisements. Okay, here we go. Once again, Donald has warned we are not so far away from World War III, but reassured why it's not going to happen. All right. So the U.S. Army has unveiled. The military army has unveiled a new facility designed to support the military air defense capability. Following the testing of an unarmed missile, they're referring to Minuteman III. On February 20th, a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held for a new state-of-the-art, modernized facility designed to support the U.S. military's air defense capability at the McAllister Army Ammunition Plant in Oklahoma. Wow. The new facility, called the Theater Readiness Monitoring Facility, will support the U.S. Army, Aviation and Missile Command, Security Assistance, Management Directorate, Non-Standard Missile System, and Hawk Missile System, the U.S. Army's site details. And the ceremony was held to commemorate the continuation of a long-standing commitment to safeguarding the future through innovation, collaboration, and service to global security. The TRMF is involved in the testing, recertification, assembling, and repair of the Hawk missile, an important air defense asset that has stood the test of time and continues to play a vital role in protecting lives around the globe. Will be done inside the TRMF, it adds. The unveiling of the new facility follows shortly after an unarmed missile was tested from a base in Santa Barbara County in California. Now, the unarmed missile test, which they are referring to the Minuteman III that was fired. On February 12, the Air Force launched an unarmed missile, Minuteman III, intercontinental ballistic missile from Vandenberg Space Force Base overnight. Acting Secretary of Defense Air Force Gary said, today's Minuteman III test launch is just one of the ways the Department of the Air Force demonstrates the readiness, precision, and professionalism of U.S. nuclear forces. It also provides confidence in the lethality and effectiveness of the nation's nuclear deterrence mission. And all of this comes amid U.S. President Donald warning about World War III. Guys, again, Donald has been putting out all these World War III warning for the past, it seems like ever since the Minuteman III was fired, an unarmed Minuteman III. And So he's been putting out all this World War III warning. Now he said he's going to prevent it from happening. That it's not going to happen under his watch. The problem here is, well, the Bible says something else. Donald warning of World War III. All right, so let's see what's going on here. On February 19, at the Future Investment Initiative Institute's Priority Summit held in Miami, Donald said, as quoted by the NDTV World Around the World, "I'm moving quickly to end wars, settle conflicts, and restore the planet to peace. I want peace, and I don't want to see everybody being taken out." And take a look at the death in the Mideast and the death that's taken place between the bear and crane. That's been going on, and we are going to end it. There's no profit for anyone in having World War III. And you're not so far away from it. I'll tell you right now, you're not so far away. All right, so I do agree with him when it comes to these last couple of years under Joe. There's been a lot of war going on in the Mideast. There's been a lot of war going on in various places. And over 1 million combined has been taken out. And Donald said that he wants peace. We all want peace. We all want peace. The problem is, in this world, people don't understand that this is a fallen world. This is a sinful world. All right? Peace only lasts for a short period of time. Eternal peace is Jesus Christ. The true peace is Jesus. Jesus is peace. Peace is Jesus. All right? If you want eternally, the true peace, that's seeking Jesus Christ and repenting and believing that he is the way, the truth, and the life. Again, God sent Jesus, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. In this world, this short period of time of peace, and then after that, destruction follows. That's why it says, when spoken of peace and safety or peace and security, then sudden destruction shall follow. So Donald could bring peace, but the problem is, it's not going to last long. It's not going to last long. In this world, there's a lot of evil, wicked people. In this world, there's a lot of antichrist. In this world, there's a lot of war hawks. All right, so here's another thing that he mentioned. You don't gain profit from these wars. You don't gain profit from World War III. Here's the thing. Yes, there is profit. Those people, the powerful ones, they gain a lot of money from it. They build their shelters, they stack their gold, they have underground city bunkers and all that type of stuff. So these people, again, it's called money launder. You know what? I'm not going to say the full name, but war money comes in, and a lot of money has ended up disappearing. And you got to ask yourself, where's the billions of dollars that's supposed to go to Crane? They're missing $200 billion. So a lot of money has been taken, and again, there is profit, but it's corruption, put it like that. Give me a second here, guys. I had to pause the video really quick. It says here, if we would have had Joe for another year, you would have been in World War III. And now it's not going to happen. Donald. Again, you can't say that it's not going to happen because I'm in charge now. That's not true. It could happen. Again, even with King David, he's seen many wars. He's seen many wars. He's seen a lot of wars. He has mighty warriors. The Bible in 1 Samuel, if you read Samuel, the entire book, King David, he had God, and there was war going on, many wars, and he was taking out the Pharisees, and the Philistines, and Goliath and all them, and he's just a mighty warrior, and it was hard back then, when it comes to peace, because out there in the Mideast, it's nothing but war. Donald, he said, under me, there's going to be peace. No. There ain't gonna be peace under you. There ain't gonna be peace under you. You will be tested, Donald. You will be tested. Just like King Nebuchadnezzar. He was tested. He was all high, he was too prideful. He was so high and mighty, God had to punish him and say, you know what? I'm gonna make you eat grass for 7 years. You think you so powerful? I gave you this empire. Now I'm gonna take this empire away from you, and I'm gonna make you eat grass for 7 years. King Nebuchadnezzar, he was eating grass for 7 years, and after 7 years, he looked up and asked God for forgiveness, and God stood him up and gave him a new heart. So again, sometimes leaders could be too prideful, but they need to understand that that could lead to dangerous situation. That could lead to a very dangerous situation. All right, so we got the final one here. I like Donald. I like what he does. He's a businessman and everything. But sometimes I feel like he's too prideful. Like, look at me. People's going to remember me. And this. Again, I'm not going after Donald. Please, people, just calm down. But, again, sometimes you have to call out, and he's too prideful. And number two, I don't like, his pastor. All right. In the book of Galatians, if you read Galatians, if you read the Bible, and these are words of God, when it comes to being a head of a church, the Apostle Paul says that a woman must remain silent. Now, again, I follow the Word of God. That's who I follow. I follow Christ. I don't follow the things of the world. The world is, doing the opposite. That is not lining up with scriptures. This is the reason why our beloved country is so messed up right now. Because the gospel is, they are perverting the gospel. Put it like that. They are twisting it. This is why we're in so much mess here in the Sleeping Giant. All right, let's go with this one here. Persia unveils new military hardware as prospect of strike grow. All right, so they're getting stuff ready. This is going to be the end here. As tension over its nuclear program escalate, Persia has showcased its military preparations with large-scale war games, launching missile strike, and displaying new defenses hardware, including a Russian Yank 130 combat jet, according to state news agencies. Now, the show of strength comes as Tehran places its armed forces on high alert, bracing for a potential strike by the Holy Land and the U.S. Once again, the military is on high alert. So why it matters? Well, the Washington Post has said U.S. intelligence assesses the likelihood of Holy Land strike on Persia nuclear program in the coming weeks or months as high. While the U.S. leader Donald has emphasized diplomacy in addressing Persian nuclear ambitions, D.C. continued military presence suggests a readiness for further escalation. Tweeda, executive vice president of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft, told Newsweek the situation has changed fundamentally from a few years ago, when Holy Land was unwilling to strike Persia on its own, and mostly used the threat of strike to stiffen Washington's position or to drag the U.S. into a biblical war. So what to know? Persian forces deployed the Yank 130 aircraft for the first time during its large-scale military drills. The jet, originally manufactured in Russia, showed maneuverability and combat capability. Drill spokesperson called its performance remarkable. Dubbed the Zofaka 1403, the military exercises showcase Persia ground forces, air defense, and naval capabilities. So this is a bad bird. This is a very powerful bird here. Now the U.S. bombers show force. Meanwhile, the U.S. bomber recently carried out 2 flyovers in the Mideast within 48 hours. The B-52 nuclear bombers deployed from Royal Air Force Base in Fairford in the United Kingdom flew over 6 U.S. aligned countries in the region, accompanied by a fighter escort, according to a statement from the US Central Command, CENTCOM. Now, the Chief of Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces, Major General, warned that any armed forces are at the peak of their readiness in the case of any mistake by the enemy. The security of the Holy Land regime and those who participated in its equipment and operational planning will be put in danger. Man, okay. So once again, guys, you have these birds in the sky. And yesterday I posted a video. There were B-52 bomber and there were 6 F-35 aircraft right close to Russia's border. All right, so that was yesterday. Now, a lot of people might be saying, hold on, Louis, why is the U.S. sending, B-52 bombers and F-35 so close to Russian border? I thought there was going to be some kind of peace agreement. Well, a military expert said that, tensions are still high, even though there is peace plan being worked on. Because let's say the peace plan doesn't work out, and then, it just doesn't make any sense. Military will still be on high alert during peace plan. So tensions are still high between U.S. and Russia. Tensions are still high between all these nations. So once a peace agreement is agreed, then, it take time for military to come back and all that type of stuff. It ain't going to happen. Pack your bag, boys. Let's go home. Yeah. No, it ain't going to be like that. So, again, right now, tensions are still high. Tensions are still high. So, Chief of Staff of the Persian Armed Forces, Major General. Okay, I read that part. I truly apologize. So, weakened defenses. You have the Holy Land. Most recent airstrike on Persia came last October after Persia launched 200 ballistic missiles, breaching Holy Land air defenses but causing little damage. And the reason why? It's because you had the U.S. and other countries out there taking out those missiles. So Holy Land had backup. So satellite imagery suggests Persia's military infrastructure suffers significant degradation. Well, yeah. The problem is they don't put out that much information. When I say they, Persia. But I heard about the S-300 was destroyed. They took out the S-300, the Holy Land. Took out the S-300. So with Persia weakened deterrence and perhaps most importantly, Joe administration removal of virtually any restraint on Holy Land, which Donald is likely to leave unchanged. The Holy Land is today far more willing to strike Persia on its own with the U.S. support, but without direct U.S. involvement. Now remember, Benjamin said that Donald would lead the way. If there's ever a military strike on Persia, Benjamin, the Prime Minister of the Holy Land, he said that Donald will lead the way. And we don't want that. Persia don't want that. Persia does not want to see Donald, the commander-in-chief of the U.S. and commander, leading the Holy Land into this biblical war. All right, so the Holy Land emboldened. The Holy Land argues that the experience of the past months has proven that the Holy Land can amplify American power in the region as long as the sleeping giant supports it logistically and does not put any constraint on how the Holy Land conducts the war. Now, Persia says its nuclear program is solely for peaceful purposes, with key facilities in Natanz and Fordal heavily fortified. Donald has backed a verifiable nuclear peace agreement while emphasizing that all options are on the table. So Iran is saying we're not going to be using these nuclear for whatever, this and that. We're going to be using it for, when it comes to, nuclear peace. What was that word? For peaceful purposes. Peaceful purposes. That's what Persia said. We just want nukes for peaceful purposes. Basically, to protect themselves from enemies. That's what Zelensky wants. Zelensky is like, give us nukes for peaceful purposes, so that way we could defend ourselves, because we got these the bear soldiers just attacking us. But again, nukes, it's not for peaceful purposes, because again, if only we could all get along, man. I mean, and this is what you call, again, a fallen world. We are basically sinners. This is a fallen world. And, this is why we look up to Jesus. Jesus said, follow me if you want eternal peace. So, again, this world, give us nuclear for peace. Forget nuclear. Give me Jesus. I choose Jesus. What people are saying. So, you have Trita, the executive vice president of Crency Institute. Okay, skip all that information. While Donald seems disinclined to want war with Persia, the Holy Land argument is that as long as Donald supports Holy Land, the Holy Land can start and finish the war on its own without leaving a mess for Washington to clean up. This is fascinating thinking by and large, but one that Donald administration is susceptible to. All right, give me a second here, guys. Oh, we almost done with this one. I had to remove some advertisement. I try not to get hit with a copyright during the live stream. So what happens next? So Persian military exercises are set to continue until mid-March. But with new U.S. sanctions targeting its oil industry and the looming possibility of Holy Land strike, Persia capital Tehran remains on high alert, reinforcing its defenses and warning of a decisive response to any aggression. And that's where we are right now. Iran is on high alert. Alright, that's the title to this video. Donald warns of World War III. So there is a lot of stuff going on, guys. So many stuff is happening, nation against nations. So Zelensky possibly coming this week or next week to Washington. All right. So, and Donald said that it's going to, be a beautiful event. It's going to an agreement to signing the Earth Rare Minerals and hopefully ending this war before Easter. All right. So we're going to see how all this plays out. All right, guys, give me a second here. Let me just read some of your comments, and God bless to every single one of you. And then I will be posting videos over my other channel, Grand Supreme News. All right, give me a second here. Hey, what's going on, Bubba News? Thank you so much for... he's the only moderator, right? Yeah, the Bubba News is the only moderator. Give me a second here. All right. Someone say, come on, biblical WW3. We shouldn't be rushing when it comes to war, because, again, God is the one that is, he's the one when it comes to, fulfilling Bible prophecy. Louis, if you're only going to be live here, maybe think about it. What? What's crazy is the Ramadan begins this weekend as well. Could get crazy time. Wow, I forgot all about that. Thank you so much, Bubba News. I forgot all about that, about the Ramadan. Crank up the volume, please. Oh, I truly apologize. Is the volume low? I truly apologize about that. How many years have they been telling us Iran is weeks? Yeah, I do agree. I mean, they've been saying that Iran is weeks away from having nukes, but they've been saying that for like a couple of years already. I believe they already have nukes. There's a possibility they already have one nuke. Renee, how you doing? God bless you. God bless to every single one of you. Someone say Zelensky is confused, I guess. No, he's not confused. He's just not getting money anymore. He's not getting money, and he's very frustrated. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Someone said Jesus Christ is coming soon. Amen to that. I'm just reading some of your comments, guys. Someone said, Lewis, Iran already have nuclear weapons. Yeah, like I said, they probably have like one. One, perhaps two, who knows. But if they do have nukes, that's the reason why Donald and the Holy Land, they really want to strike them. Yeah, so... Alright, guys. I think I'm going to end it here because right now it's... Wow, it's almost 4 o'clock. Time flew quick. I got another video I got to post on Grand Supreme News. And I have a time schedule. Someone say, what about Egypt? I would keep it updated when it comes to Egypt. I heard Egypt, there's a lot of tanks going on. And you have a lot of tanks out there. And Egypt seems like they're preparing for something. So I would keep it updated on that one there too. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for your support. Those news article I just showed you, you can find it in the description box. I shared it with the links and everything. And like I said, I'm thinking about going live at 3 p.m. every day on this channel. Alright, we're going to be talking about world events. So again, I'm thinking about doing it every day, 3 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. So I want to thank every single one of you for your support. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, Bubba News, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Renee. And yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, Luis Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, later.